My grandmother pinched everyone's cheeks until they bruised and called it love while insulting them. The new member of the family gave her what she asked for. My grandmother Eleanor had this thing about establishing dominance through physical affection that nobody asked for. She'd pinch your cheeks until they turned red, grab your arm hard enough to leave marks, and pat your face while telling you everything wrong with your life choices. She called it showing love, but everyone knew it was about control. At every family gathering, she'd make a big show of pinching everyone's cheeks in order of how much she approved of them. Her favorites got gentle pinches with compliments. People she disapproved of got these vicious pinches, while she'd say things like, "You'd be prettier if you smiled more," or maybe if you lost weight, these cheeks wouldn't be so puffy. I was always in the disapproval category because I'd chosen to become a teacher instead of marrying rich like she'd done. Every holiday, birthday, or random Sunday dinner, she'd corner me and pinch my cheeks while loudly announcing to everyone that I was wasting my youth on children who weren't even mine. She'd hold my face between her fingers and shake it while telling me about some doctor's son or lawyer she knew who might still consider me despite my poor choices. If you tried to pull away, she'd pinch harder and say young people had no respect for their elders. If you said it hurt, she'd announce you were too sensitive for the real world. My cousin once showed up with bruises on her cheeks from Eleanor's pinching, and Eleanor said she should be grateful for the attention. The worst part was she did this to everyone, even strangers. Waitresses, cashiers, and anyone under 60 was fair game. She'd grab nurses at her doctor's appointments, pinch their cheeks, and tell them they reminded her of her disappointment of her grandchildren. She got kicked out of 3 restaurants for touching staff. She'd go to my classroom during parent conferences, pinch my students' cheeks, and tell them their teacher would probably quit soon to finally start a real family. The principal had to ban her from school property. My brother met someone new last year, a woman named Diana, who seemed really sweet and quiet. Eleanor was thrilled because Diana looked like the type she could control. At their first meeting, Eleanor immediately went for Diana's cheeks, squeezing them while saying she hoped Diana could teach my brother to be less of a disappointment. Diana just smiled and took it. Eleanor was so pleased with herself, telling everyone Diana understood respect for elders, unlike the rest of us ungrateful brats. The wedding planning became Eleanor's show. She'd pinch Diana's cheeks at every meeting while making demands about the ceremony. Diana had to wear the dress Eleanor picked. Diana had to use Eleanor's ancient hairdresser. Diana had to include all of Eleanor's friends, even though Diana had never met them. Each demand came with cheek pinches that got harder when Diana hesitated. Diana never complained, just smiled and nodded. Eleanor started bringing Diana to all family events to show off how well-behaved she was compared to the rest of us. She'd pinch Diana's cheeks in front of everyone while praising her submissiveness, saying this was what a real woman looked like. At the wedding rehearsal dinner, Eleanor gave a speech about how she'd trained Diana properly through loving discipline. She grabbed Diana's face for a demonstration of her pinching technique, really digging in while explaining how physical reminders helped young people remember their place. Diana just kept smiling. Eleanor was so proud she demanded Diana thank her for the guidance. Diana stood up, still smiling, and said she had an announcement. Before Eleanor could react, Diana mentioned she'd been so inspired by Eleanor's physical approach to affection that she wanted to share her own. Turns out Diana was a professional wrestler who went by Diamond Diana in the women's circuit. She'd been trained in submission holds and grappling for 10 years. She grabbed Eleanor's wrist in what she called a loving grip, the same way Eleanor grabbed cheeks, and demonstrated a modified wrestling hold she'd named the Grandma Clutch in Eleanor's honor. Eleanor tried to pull away, but Diana held on, explaining this was just affection, just like Eleanor taught her. Eleanor's face went red, then purple, not from pain but from rage that someone was doing to her exactly what she'd done to everyone else. Diana held Eleanor's wrist in that grip for exactly as long as Eleanor typically held people's cheeks, about 30 seconds that felt like hours. When she finally let go, Eleanor had tears in her eyes from frustration. Diana announced that she looked forward to sharing this special greeting with Eleanor at every family gathering, just like Eleanor shared her pinches with everyone. She said it was tradition now. Eleanor tried to say that was assault, but Diana innocently said she was just following Eleanor's example of showing physical affection to family members, whether they wanted it or not. If Eleanor could pinch, Diana could grip. The whole family was silent. Grandma was gritting her teeth and pushed Diana off the stage. Full story on channel, link below.